Hey everyone, welcome to Steven Universe, the show where we talk about the universe of Steven Universe. I'm your host, Victor Frost. First things first, this is our 50th episode! Cue the music! Yeah! Oh man, it's been a year and a half since I started this show, and how fantastic has it been? Thanks to all of you for weighing in and watching and weighing in with your comments and thoughts and contributing to the conversation is what makes you guys the awesome audience that you are. Thank you for that. Right then, second thing second, I suppose, the news. A new Steven Universe book is up for pre-order, but it might not be what you expect. The book is Keep Beach City Weird and is a companion to Ronaldo's blog. You know, the one that exists both in the show and on real Tumblr. Slated for release on April 18th, 2017, it's available for pre-order in paperback and Kindle ebook form for $6.16 and $7.99 respectively. Link in the doobly-doo. Relatedly, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you folks that Steven Universe comics, the ones that have been coming out, they've been pretty awesome so far, and one of the best ways to catch up on them for free is through your local public library. Many public libraries have tons of comics, audiobooks, movies, TV shows, and of course, ebooks, available online and on your mobile device through partnerships with services like Overdrive, Hoopla, and Freegal. To see if your public library is partnered with one of these excellent services, now mind you, this is a genuine recommendation, I wish they were paying me, you can check them out by clicking the link in the doobly-doo or by asking your favorite librarian. One more thing news-wise, if you've somehow missed all the coverage from San Diego Comic-Con, the Steven Universe cast and crew were there, and it was a musical extravaganza, where the voice actors and actresses sang songs from your favorite episodes live and on stage. The LA Times put out an article giving the full set list as well as clips for most of them. I'll give you 3 guesses where the link is, and the first 2 don't count. So that's it news-wise. Now it's time for us to do a review. This time I'm not going to be reviewing a fan work, but an official, totally actual release from Cartoon Network. Soundtrack Attack, produced by Purple Tree for Cartoon Network, is a rhythm game where you play as a rebel gem of your own creation and romp through some of the most iconic locations in the universe of the show, including Mask Island, the Kindergarten, and the Strawberry Battlefield, all while trying to escape the homeworld gem out to capture you. If you've played Attack the Light and are expecting a similar level of quality, then prepare to be sorely disappointed, because this game, while aesthetically decent, fails at some of the most important aspects core to being a rhythm game. First of all, this game lags a lot. Now, this would be understandable if I were trying to run it on a $35 burner phone, but I have a Samsung Galaxy Note 5, one of the highest spec phones on the market. I've never had a problem with lag on even the most graphics-intense applications, including full VR experiences using the Samsung Gear VR. For a 2D game to lag, stutter, and jump is unconscionable, and I tested this on multiple devices to see if maybe it was just my phone. But the bugs seem to be just part of the game. This is only Purple Tree's second game for mobile, so you might be tempted to forgive them or cut them some slack, but no. Their last game for mobile, Rockstars of Ooh, a game that was essentially Adventure Time assets on a Rhythm Heaven clone, was even more buggy and problematic, lagging, crashing constantly, not detecting people's touchscreens, and worst of all, doing all of that while taking people's money with it, costing $1.99 to purchase. That was their first mobile game. You could at least forgive them for that, for the problems due to their inexperience, but that was a year ago. They should have learned from their mistakes and tried harder. But what I see are the trademark signs of a complicated game made in a single development environment compiled for 2 different platforms, Apple and Android, but never optimized for either. But even worse is that it's clear they knew this because of how they fudged the game mechanics. They knew timing would be an issue, so they expanded the hit circle well beyond where the UI of the game suggests. What results is a rhythm game where a lack of rhythm is forgiven. To an extent. The second overarching fault this game has is as you get further and further into the game, the step patterns, as DDR players would call them, become incredibly difficult. For another rhythm game, I could chalk up not being able to do them to me becoming an old man and say that this game was designed for sugar-mad 12-year-olds, or simply reason that, hey, if I had to practice songs over and over again for DDR and Love Live, why should this be any different? Well, because of the frenetic pace of the later levels, the fudge factor they incorporated into the mechanics, due to the timing issues caused by the lag and overall buggy nature of the game, is nullified. You can't fudge for an off-timed input the player didn't make simply because they didn't have time to react to graphics that suddenly appeared 3/4 of the way down the screen. But even in the highest levels, you could make it through if you knew the melodies of the songs they pulled from the show. Except, third and finally, most of the songs we'll be playing against are not from the show. They're what I can only reasonably define as letting a pair of LSD-laden ferrets run across the keyboard for a minute and a half, quantizing what they come up with, then adding a couple of generic dance backing tracks. They're mostly semi-random melodies with no thought towards common song structure. As a result, the intuitive understanding of music most people have, where you can kinda predict the structure of a song as you're listening to it, is completely useless, turning this game into essentially a game of musical whacker-man. So, what's the verdict? I'm giving it 0 out of 5 Stevens. Don't bother with it. This game is terrible, and the blame for it lies not just with Purple Tree Studios, but with Cartoon Network for putting their seal of approval on such a buggy game. Now it's time for us to look at the first week of the Steven Nuke and see what we learned. If you haven't yet seen the episodes, Drop Beat Dad, Mr. Greg, Too Short to Ride, The New Lars, and Beach City Drift, now's your chance to pause this video, go watch those, then come back. Don't worry, we'll wait. This is your spoiler alert. Nope, can't do it. Look, here's the deal. With the other Steven bombs, waiting until it was over was a great idea because they were each their own little self-contained arcs. It worked fantastically, but this, if there's an arc here in this Steven Nuke, it's building incredibly gradually. And that's not bad. Sometimes that's what you need. Give the characters at play the time and space to grow and mature to what's needed of them at the end of the arc. You can't just have your characters suddenly jump in their development and call it good writing, because it isn't. There is a thread being developed across these episodes, both in week 1 and 2, and honestly, it's just way too early to really tell what that thread is. Right now, all I can see of it is that it's dealing with relationships, but it's dealing with them so broadly that I can't tell where it's going with that idea. And I've been just pulling my hair out trying to figure it out, trying to figure out some way to tie them all together in one neat little bow, but I can't. That's why this video is so late. That's why we're talking like this, instead of going through the usual routine of inserts whooshing in and cuts to beautiful epiphanies about the nature in the show and how it deals and interacts with the mise-en-scène. But that's not even the real problem here. The real problem is that each one of the episodes that have come out so far are so dense and rich that trying to talk about them 5 at a time wouldn't give enough time to talk about any one of them to a worthwhile degree. To a degree that you have come to expect from me and that I have come to expect from myself. It wouldn't do them justice, and it isn't what you deserve. So, new plan. They're dropping a nuke, so we're gonna raise the threat level to DEFCON 1. This is going to be the last normal episode of Steven Universe for a while. We're going maximum dog copter, giving each episode a show of its own, of just analysis until we're caught up. It'll take a while and things might get a little hairy, but at least we won't compromise the integrity of the analysis. Because otherwise, what's the point? All right, I got episodes to analyze. Next episode, we're going to talk about Drop Beat Dad. Until then, I'm Victor Frost, and I will see you next time on Steven Universe. Hey, by the way, before I run off and you get that nice little ukulele flung, and then the title image comes up from Fade to Black, just wanted to thank my Patreon supporters, because I have some, and they are most excellent. One of my Patreon supporters, contributing in the $5 and up tier of patronage, is Mr. Grant McGillivray. See, Grant, I can do it right. I had posted a bit of patron-only content. I do that, so if you want to get the... I feel so pretentious saying this. If you want to get the full Victor Frost experience... God. There's patron-only content. And, I said his name wrong, and he posted a nice handy correction. I'm looking at it on the patron thing right now. Nice way to pronounce the correct way to pronounce his name. So thank you, Grant, for contributing $5 or more. You are helping make this show possible, as well as all the other Frostworks projects, of which there are many. Anyways, if you feel so compelled to donate to Patreon, to my Patreon account thing, there will be a button right here, and it's only going to be here for the next 20 seconds, so I'll see you next time. Bye!